latest view on voter turnout.
Newscenter 25 up next. Sander. Super Tuesday, the March 10th primary finally here.
Nearly an hour remains before the polls close. Still too early to start tallying any results. As of a couple of hours ago, we were getting differing reports on area voter turnout. Two of the larger polling places we spoke with indicated a light showing of voters. A spokesperson at one of them said there was a bigger turnout for the lottery election. Texas Secretary of State John Hanna, meanwhile, says statewide turnout in the primary could go as high as 30%. There was one precinct we contacted here in Victoria that said voting there had been pretty steady all day. Glenn Selig is standing by live now, I believe, at that very precinct I just mentioned. Glenn, how do things look there?
Gene, I'm standing right outside Holy Family Catholic Church. It's the newest precinct created to accommodate growth here on the north side. Voting here has been steady all day, and it's the same story across the city. The presidential primaries usually bring higher numbers to the polls, and this year appears to be no exception. There are 35,000 registered voters in Victoria County, and at least 10% of them are expected at the polls.
We are the ones who, on the local level, make things happen or don't make things happen, and unless we cast our ballots, then things don't happen.
She lived on the seat. Arkansas governor is expected to win handily on the Democratic side, President Bush on the Republican side, but it seems like many people aren't happy with either. I'm Glenn Selig, reporting live on the north side. Now back to you in the studio.
Political analysts, big words and flowery speeches, and going back to high school for a plain and simple lesson on government in a democracy and how we elect the president. And party politics is where we are now. Today, Texas and 37 other states are holding closed primaries. And if you voted, you know it means choosing whether you're Democrat or Republican right off the bat.
They had 5 Democrats candidates. Well, now we're going to 3, but, you know, it would have been a big problem if they didn't have the closed primary.
By eliminating some of the candidates, you come up with a popular vote in each party.
Whoever wins the popular vote of each state gets all the votes, all the electoral votes for that state. And Texas has 32.
So tonight, one Democrat and one Republican will have won the state of Texas. He will be the nominee from each party, provided other states do the same. A total of 270 electoral votes is needed. That's one more than half of all the electoral votes in the country. By the way, the number of electoral votes a state gets is determined by the number of Congress members and senators from that state. But if you voted for one party today, you can change your mind in November.
The Republican Party has held more terms in office than probably any other party there is.
The Democrats, they seem to support more women's rights. They want more financial aid for, available to students like going into college, which is me and my peers.
That's government. Politics is a different story. Holly Sulak, News Center 25.
One quick note before we go into